achieve success with Global.Media.com. Every step forward is a new beat to your drum. Achieve success with Global.Media.com. Let's celebrate it with or without champagne.
Hello, 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 and welcome to everybody. Hello, Annie. How are you this beautiful day?
I'm all right. I'm not, it's a beautiful day. It's a bit cold.
It's still
It's cold
beautiful,
and dirty,
regardless.
as you know. Isn't it cold up your end?
They say beauty is in the eyes of the beholder.
It's still cold. It's
It
all
is.
good. We're here eventually, Christiana. Eventually,
We are
we're here.
here. I've had an
Yeah.
eventful morning stroke now afternoon and tried to get onto the system this afternoon. I've been thrown out 3 times even before I began. So, firstly, my apologies for the rather delayed start to the show this afternoon. Second, it's going to be a short one for you guys today. In the
Sure.
spirit, a short one, yes. In the spirit of February being the love month, I thought we can touch on the subject a mother's love, not from the perspective you're thinking about, but from my perspective, which is a mother's love for their unborn child. In particular, as you know, I'm all about miscarriage and baby loss. And so it's about a mother's love for an unborn or even born stillbirth um, child. They didn't get to carry, they didn't get to see, they didn't get to actually welcome, but there is still that love, there's still that bond. And so, with that in mind, I'm going to say, first of all, thank you for being here. Thank you for those who are joining us. I hope that those of you who probably tried to join in and realize that we went on live on air as yet, that have left, I do hope you come back and join us. And I also hope that you are going to come up on our studio and share your thoughts with us, your experiences, any questions, any challenge. If you know anybody who might benefit from this show, who might benefit from our shows, future shows coming up, please do us a massive favor and share this link, share this show to your friends, to your networks. You never know which life you might save. So, with that being said, Annie, I'm going to hand over to you. Thank you.
Can you see me, Christiana?
No, I can't see
There's a reason
you.
for that. No. So, how are you doing?
I'm exhausted, if I'm being honest. I was going to do the normal thing people do. I'm fine, I'm okay, I'm great. But sometimes we've got to be real, our authentic self. I keep hearing this language, authenticity, right? And sometimes we are used to masking everything. And no one should usually, really come to a show with complaints and moans. But I
No,
don't normally do
I
this.
know that.
I
Being
will do it
honest,
today.
so being honest is a good thing. Being your authentic self, as you say,
So
I think.
as you know, it was my birthday on Tuesday, and guess what I did with this Tuesday on my birthday? I spent it on the sofa, so unwell. But the one thing I'm grateful for is that I still have life. I'm still here. There are those who didn't see this year, they didn't enter 2025. So for me, gratitude leads all the time. Despite being on the sofa and not being so unwell, I really thought, I'm so grateful, you know. And the icing on the cake was the amount of people who reached out to wish me happy birthday. It was just mind blowing. And I was even more grateful because I was like, oh my God, somebody took the time to think about me, not just think about, my birthday, but also decided to send a message to show that they were thinking about me. They took the time to say happy birthday. That meant so much to me. So I'm so grateful to all of you that sent me messages both on my LinkedIn, on my WhatsApp, on my phone, like off. Thank you so much. May you ever remain blessed. And just thank you. Thank you for how you guys show up on this platform, how you support, how you show your support. I'm eternally grateful. I do not take it for granted. And I want to say that if you're anywhere that you feel you want to show that to anybody else, just when we think about somebody, don't hesitate. let them know that you care. Show or demonstrate that care, because you just never know who might be watching. You just never know who might need that word, that message that they were not expecting. So I want to say that today. Second thing is, if you are like myself currently, LinkedIn user on LinkedIn, when you put a message in, can you please write your name next to your comment so we'll know who you are? Because on screen, as we view this, you will show up as LinkedIn user, but on the comment section, you show up as your usual self. So help us to know who you are as you communicate with us. Thank you so much. I think I'll pause and Annie, hand over to you for a moment.
Yes, yes. No, yeah. We have challenging days, but we're here, right? We're here to help people, as you always are, Christian. So the fact it drops on Valentine's, my favorite time of the year, not.
You were like, no, don't do this. Don't do the love thing and
It's,
Valentine's thing. I was
as
like,
far as
yes.
my thinking is what it is now. It's everyone. No, I don't. I guess I don't subscribe to the one day for anything. For anything. Every day is my birthday.
Same here.
So every
Mhm.
day, we should be showing love to each other and to our loved ones, especially. Right.
I agree.
There you go. So that's so I just literally these days come they go.
Mhm.
Hello, Joni. I see you. And there's other people here, by the way, but I can't
Hello,
see you.
Journey. Oh, let me see.
You,
Who
you
are
have you
they?
haven't you haven't commented. I'm listening to say something. So please leave us a comment, my friends.
Hi,
Let's see
Journey.
who
Yes,
you are.
yes. Comments.
So we
Is
can't
Raj
welcome
here
you.
with us?
We can't welcome you if we don't see you. So please
David is
drop us a
here with
comment.
us.
Do join us.
Please do
Uh,
join
well,
us with
yes.
your comments. I would like to see you guys. Oh,
Right. Look, of course. So I'm here to support as always.
yes,
So
thank you.
I should let you do your thing.
You
And
won't believe it, but it's going to be a short show today.
how short are we talking? I actually finish on time.
um, just over time, yes.
Just over time.
Mhm.
How's that short? I'm
It is
seriously.
short. So bearing in mind we started off late, to be fair, it's going to be just
Yeah,
just after the hour.
let's
Like
make
I
it
said, it's
worth
a
the
short
time.
one. Hi, Christine. Welcome. So good to have you here. Comment, 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 guys. Yes,
Yeah.
who else is here? I can see 6 people. So there's Joni, there's Michelle, there's you, there's Christine. Awesome. So today, yes, every day we wake up is a blessing. Absolutely, Christine, I agree with you. So for today, I'm going to begin the show with a poem. So you know when I say use AI I decided to try AI myself. I was writing this poem and I thought, what else can I add to it? Who can help me write, complete this poem? The first poem I'm going to read today is for those mothers who were pregnant. So if you were between, you know, 1 to up to 12 weeks, for those who experienced miscarriage, I really wanted to bring something to the table that I hope will resonate with anyone that gets to watch this has been through miscarriage um, in their lifetime, you know. And I really have to think about those who it is their dream to really end up having a rainbow baby. So rainbow baby is a baby that is born after you experience a miscarriage, and if it's your first child. So that's a rainbow baby. It's taking the storm and having this beautiful child that comes along afterwards, which is the rainbow. So there is, when we have thunder, we have storm, we have rain, we have rainbow in the midst of all of that, right? And so a rainbow baby is exactly that. After the storm comes, you have this baby that becomes a rainbow baby. So the poem goes like this: though you never heard their laughter or held their tiny hand, your love was pure, unshaken, a bond that still will stand. They lived within your heart, a whisper, soft and true. And though they could not stay here, they'll always be with you. A mother's love knows no bounds, not even time or space. For in your heart, they rest in light, a soul you can't replace. So when the days feel heavy and the nights are filled with pain, know their love still lingers near, like sunshine after the rain. So I want you to think about that. That's a poem from me today for those who've had a miscarriage, to say that we understand it. You know, I want to do this, a mother's love in Valentine's or Valentine month, because the love between an unborn child and a mother is an even stronger one. And I can attest to that because I've personally gone through it. You don't get to meet your child, you don't get to see your child, but there is that connection that you have, regardless of their absence. The pain never goes away. You find ways to cope, you find ways to manage your emotions, you find ways to memorialize them, ways to remember them, you know, whether it's what they would look like, what they could be doing at certain ages, the dates, and so on and so forth. Remember all of that. And so it's forever there. And I say a mother's love, but I must not forget the men, because men too go through this. You know, when it comes to Father's Day in June for us, I will turn my attention to fathers without a doubt. But I want to bring this poem just to remind us that that love and that bond is ever so strong. That love and that bond is something that no one can take away from you. It's what you feel. It's what you can share with your loved ones, you know? And so with today's one, as I usually would say when I begin my shows, we know that 1 in 4 women will experience miscarriage. 1 in 8 couples will definitely be going through fertility issues. You know, 50% of us are aware of somebody who may have experienced miscarriage. And I always come from a UK stats because that's where I'm based, naturally. And the same trauma causes, or costs rather, the economy just shy of 500 billion pounds a year. And so it's really important that whilst we think about the stats, let's think about the emotional, the physical, and the mental, spiritual impact that this trauma has on us. Not just those who are experiencing it, but those around us, our loved ones, who sometimes may not be aware of what to do or how to support us, and yet they want to so much support us. So with this love, I began this whole topic, one because of my child and because of both our illnesses this week. We're both on the sofa together on my birthday and lying down, feeling quite feeling quite worn out and shattered. It was not a pretty sight, quite frankly. But we're still going. And as I speak, he has not been to school or nursery today, I should say, because he's not fully well. I remember once being told, and I'm trying to get to the point of what love really means. Imagine, in search of wanting and in desperation of wanting to have a child. This is not my story. I'm telling this story because it's someone else's story. But I had the pleasure of communicating with them and understanding what it was that motivated them to go through what I'm about to say to you. Imagine wanting to have a child. That love is so strong that they'd gone through 29, and let me just say this very clearly so you can you begin to do the math, do the emotional trauma it takes, the strength it takes, the physical, emotional, and mental strength it takes. 29, and I mean 29 IVF trials, failed trials. Okay? Not 1, not 2, not 3. It went up to 29. And on the 30th one, they were successful. Now, when I heard the story, I kept asking, the question for me was, what was it that kept you going for 29 rounds and a 30th one? And we know that IVF is not cheap. it is some expense. The minimum for an IVF is $10,000. Minimum. Good morning, Caroline. $10,000 is the minimum. Okay, it's a range between 10 to 30,000 per trial, depending on which clinic, depending on where you go to. Now, times that by 29. You do the math. Okay. Hi, Cyrus. Welcome. And time by 29. But because of the love that was within, LinkedIn user, please put your name next to your comment and your love. But because of the love that was within, because of what she knew she and her husband could pour into a child, that became a journey. That became a mission. That became a resilience journey. I would like to know what your comments are on this, because if you had gone for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, at what point do you give up? By all means, please put in the comment section, let us know. At what point does one give up? And that's why I speak of a mother's love. The thought of wanting to be a mother is something for some people. It's like breathing. That in itself for me is pure love. And like I said, nobody can take that away from you, But on the 30th try, that was good news. And not just getting pregnant, but getting pregnant to full term with a healthy baby and delivering a healthy baby. Baby that's now, I think, 18 months old now. So that's what it takes to have a love, a mother's love, or people say maternal. But I really believe it goes beyond that. It's like when you have a deep desire to want to have a child in your life, to have a family. And I remember her saying her husband had given up. He was like, oh, this is not going to work anymore. At what point? And again, we've got to be careful when it comes to this topic in terms of the trials, the amount of times and amount of IVF trials, because at times that this can separate couples. It can be it's an exhausting process to go through. I don't know if you know about IVF. You've got to inject yourself with needles and medications just to grow the egg, the eggs to begin with, just to get the right amount of eggs. There's a whole process that goes through it. Depending on the drugs you're on, the injection you've got to take for yourself, the preparation before the treatment, preparation after the treatment, and whilst you're going through it, to have to go through that 29, 30 times. It's the reason why I speak of a mother's love today. And let's not forget the grieving that happens every time. It's like reliving that trauma. Every time there's a failed attempt, you're reliving that trauma. Most people say, when do I give up? When do you actually give up this? Why do you keep bothering? Everybody questioned and everybody said no. Everyone around had given up on her and said, no, it's enough. You're wasting your time, you're wasting your money. Enough is enough. And on the 30th attempt, she made it. And when that news came, I literally jumped for joy. I jumped for joy because I understood what strength that took and what it truly meant to them, and to have that special baby, that rainbow baby. Imagine how many storms had to happen. Imagine how much rain had to pass. Imagine how much thunder had to pass to get a rainbow at the end of it all. But here she was with that rainbow, beaming, smiling now, enjoying life, So that's when I say a mother's love is unbreakable, is unshakable. The bond that you feel for that unborn child and desire and determination to be a mother, for me, trumps anything else. Anyone who disagrees with me, by all means, please come up on stage. I would love to hear your perspective. Hi, Rosemary, welcome. I would like to hear your perspective. I would like to hear where you're coming from. I'd like to hear your views on what I've just shared. I'm so passionate about this that I truly believe that there is nothing stronger than the bond with a mother and a child, unborn child. And Annie, when I said this, you mentioned something to me that, I think it's also a good discussion. And we're going to have that discussion. The discussion, the point, thank you, Michelle. The point you made was, well, what about the living children? Why focus on the unborn child? Why focus on the child that's not here that you didn't get to have? What about the unborn children or the unborn, the existing children? It does not mean that they are forgotten. It doesn't mean that. But then we're making the assumption that those who are going through this trial, as I just said, already have children. What if they don't have children? And that is their desire. That's a journey for them to be able to bring a being into this world. It's really important, right? Like I said, I'm not saying that we forget our existing children. I'm just saying that the desire for some to grow their family, to extend their family, is something that it's a huge desire. It's a huge love. Yes, you love a child. You want more children because you've got so much love to give. But let me hear your take. Please, please step on the stage, come and share. I know we have Cyrus here. Let me go through who we have on our stages today. Hi, Lisa. Welcome. Good to see you here. I know we have Joni. Join us. Michelle, unmute yourself and let's have a conversation. Hello, Michael. Hello, Cyrus. Thank you for being here. Please, please, whilst you're here, can you share, share, share? Invite more people to join us. Yes, Christine, that is unconditional love and it's priceless. I do agree. It's
Yeah,
priceless.
yeah, oh my gosh, that was just so moving. As a mother, I am so happy for the mom you just talked about. Oh my God. I, wow, she's a superhero.
She is. She really is.
Because there's nothing better than a kid, and I respect her so much for going through
Mm,
it. And it doesn't, I understand the man's there too. But with women, if we really feel like we need that connection, especially with having children. And oh my gosh, that is just beautiful. And that I couldn't imagine going through that many, uh, but I would do it too. Um, because it's internal for us women. We want to do it. It's the animal instinct to have that mother's
mm-hmm.
love. And it's the story you
Yes.
brought today is just so beautiful, that she got it, and the baby youth, 18 months old now. I mean, she's watching her little bundle of sunshine run around now, and I can guarantee you she's not remembering those 30 times of trying to go through to get that little bundle of joy,
Mm,
because there's nothing like being able to mold your own child. And as moms, that's
mm-hmm.
all we want to really do. It's what we feel. It's what we
Yes.
know instinctively, that we're born, we're girls, we're women, we're supposed to have babies. And when we can't, mentally, that is devastating for us. I don't know about
Mm,
anyone else, but it's devastating. I know when I quit having children, I was honestly devastated because I was just like, but that's
mm-hmm.
what I'm supposed to do. And I'm so happy that your
Mm,
friend gets to do that. That just brings joy to my heart, because usually people give up. And that's sad because, like you said, you never know when it's going to catch. Hers was 30. You know, some people give
Yes.
up after the first time, and it could have been a second time it caught. Um, so congratulations to your friend. And um, to me, that's a beautiful story
It is.
because I couldn't imagine not having my own child.
And I
So
think,
yeah,
thank you, Michelle, for saying that. I also believe that it is so with this story, everybody around was so was supportive up until 5, 6, they got to 10, and people started to think that, this was just madness. And the true beauty is when you know your mind, when you're someone who's determined, who has a desire, because desire and the love that we have will trump who we listen to, other people's views about our life, our bodies, and what we want to do with it. And the reality was the desire to bring that child into the world was the focus, you know, was for her the icing on the cake that she wanted to see had happened. And people around her had given up on her, had given up the idea of. And sometimes it's a lonely place to be. When that happens, it can be a lonely place to be because in the times and the moments that you need support, and I know previously when we had our audio events, I've had people coming to the audio events who've asked the question, how do I support, you know, my friend who is going through this? I remember one episode when Dr. Constance asked the question of supporting a friend. How do I support my friend who is going through these trials and keep going? When do I say to them no? And I had to say, you have to lead. They have to lead you. It is not for us to say yes or no. Even when we think what the person is doing is incorrect or wrong, who are we to say that? Who are we to say you're wrong, you're incorrect? And especially for those who already have their own children, right? You already have your own children. You would never understand what that means. You just wouldn't understand it. Now, unless you've been through miscarriage, baby loss, you might have some understanding. However, it is still individual. It is still that human being and their journey. It's not what we might have done on our own journey, it's what they need to do on their own journey. And as crazy as it might sound to us, it's really important that we take a pause on ourselves, hold our words together, and say, hey, okay, what can I do to support you? Because look, people gave up on her so many times. And at the end of it, on the 30th trial, she was successful.
she reigned. She
Right?
reigned. That's
And
beautiful.
if I'm being honest with you, those around her were blown away. I mean, they came to celebrate. They came to celebrate the pregnancy. And despite that, she and them were still on the edge. Like, we have to monitor this. Am I going to go full term? And the answer was no, 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 no. Don't do that to yourself. You've got to take a
No.
day as it comes. Take a day as it comes, get through today, and then tomorrow comes, get through the next day, and walk through the whole 9 months that way. Put no negative self thought in your mind. Have self care as your number one priority. Do whatever you can do to relax, for your body, your mind to be in a relaxed state. Because
Yeah.
for the first 10, it was intense. It was intense. It was that thought of, is it going to work? Is it going to work? Is it going to work? And you're not really enjoying the journey. But this time
How
round,
could she? How could she? She was so scared. I hope that everyone is supporting her now. I mean,
mhm,
she
they are.
proved to everyone, look what I did. but to not have that support to go through it, that,
Hmm.
oh, I don't know who she is, but my gosh, to her and the child, that's
Mm,
just,
absolutely. So it's that thing, and this is the reason why I said today my show is going to be short today, because I just want people to have the thought in their minds. If you have anyone that you know, whether loved ones, colleagues, friends, that is going through this, take the time to understand their journey. Don't write them off,
no,
because you just don't know when they are going to be successful.
you are
Ask
so right.
ask them how you can be supportive, sorry. How can they be supported by you? What daily things can you do to help them? Even that means a phone call, or it just means a listening ear, or it means going to an appointment with them. No matter what it takes, how can you be of support as opposed to being of hindrance on their journey? You know, it's that
That's
thing
what
of
you would want to be on that journey. That's a beautiful journey. I kind of want to know her. It's like I want to play with you and your kid.
yes,
That's a superwoman
exactly.
for to me.
Mhm,
I
mhm.
My longest labor was 42 minutes. My
Awesome.
shortest my shortest labor was 11 minutes. I mean, they like, and then I have a.
You're just you're just showing off now.
No, I'm not. But I mean, and so it was always easy for me. I no, that's why I got my tubes tied, because I was like 11 minutes. My daughter walked out saying, "Yo, mom, I want a pizza," and I was like, "No, yeah, no, okay,
You want a
we're gonna
pizza?
stop here." Her two older brothers going, "Whoop!" They're thinking they're at a basketball game. You know, Dad's over in a different country, and he's like, "What did we have? Are you okay?" So,
What do we have?
and
Where the pizza?
oh no. Yeah. Why did you name her? You named her before you left, honey. You remember the name, And so I couldn't, what she did, it shows me that what you just told me makes me believe in humanity more, because
Yes.
she wanted, like I said, I couldn't imagine not having a child. And I hope she has many more.
Mm.
I don't know her
Same
situation,
here.
but um, having more, if it's going to hurt her or not. And I'm glad, but you really touched me today. Thank you. I am learning because
Thank
I
you.
actually want to go to fertility clinics now and see if they have care packages for these women.
Mm.
Because it's hard for the men, obviously, because like you said, her husband wanted to give up. But she was just like, no, I can do this for us. I can. And so that's got to be hard for every woman. So I'm wondering, can we go to a clinic and start like something for women that are going through
Yeah.
IVF, like you're saying, and say, come on, girls, it's all right. We
Hi,
got
Michael.
you.
Welcome. Yes.
And so,
So
yeah,
that's a good start, Michelle. Thank you for saying that. I think that's important. The one key thing I want to say here is not, and I can hear people telling me this. Not everybody has the ability, and when I say ability, I mean the financial means and ability to go through 29, 30 IVF rounds, right? Because
yeah,
at number 2 to 3, it's already expensive for some people. And you heard me say that the range is between $10,000 to $30,000, and it's so important.
wow.
Like, imagine having to go, even let's just say for argument's sake that was $10,000 per
Yeah,
IVF round. So that also, not just going through the emotional aspect, think of it as financial.
mental.
What does that do to a household? Do they have
I,
the means? How was that done is the question. And so that will put further strain. That causes more stress if you haven't got the means. And even if you have the means, you have one person thinking, well, there are better ways to spend our money. Like we've given it 10 tries. Why are we still doing this? Why is this still so important to you? Without really understanding, hi Joni, without really understanding from mother's perspective what is truly needed, or what that joy that they want to have, that fulfillment that you want to feel. So that's the reason why today is about a mother's love. It's so important that when we support people, we look at it from a holistic point of view, from a mental perspective, from a physical perspective, from an emotional perspective, a spiritual perspective. But the big one is a financial perspective, because that's what does real damage in homes. Behind closed doors, you will never know about it if they don't tell you. But the reality is, it has an impact. And research shows that when it comes to couples, the top 5 on the list that causes breakdown in marriages is finances.
Yes.
Right? So imagine when you're going through trauma of this nature, number one, relieving that trauma, then adding finances to the picture, it just doesn't sit well. But I am so glad that they were both able to go through this and come out on the other side and have a rainbow baby to celebrate. So whenever I tell the story, it brings a smile to my face, because not everybody can do this. Others would have given up a long time ago, but she stuck with it. She followed her intuition, her instinct, and she said, "It is going to work. It has to work," was her words. It has to work. And guess what? It worked. So I'm going to welcome Michael. Great to see you here.
Hold on. Yeah, so welcome, Michael. You've done that. So Christine has a comment.
I could only have one because health reasons, but oh, what a blessing. And she is my miracle baby. Yes. Yes. Ah, Michelle, welcome from Ohio. Good to see you here. Nice. Thank you, guys. Oh, so we're discussing the mother's love. If you just joined us, we are speaking of a mother's love for their unborn child. What does that look like? What does that take? What does that involve? I just told a story of a mother who was desperate to have a child and went through 30 rounds of IVF. She had 29 failed IVF trials. And on the 30th IVF trial, she was successful. And
She's
today,
my Superman for Valentine's Day. She's my Supergirl.
and today, she has an 18-month-old child to show for her hard work, her resilience, her determination, despite everybody else around her giving up and saying, you're crazy. Why you wasting time and money on someone and so forth? I'm just so happy for her to have done that. So, Joni, hi, Dr. Noella.
We see
Thank you for joining us. We see you. Professor Roxana. Welcome. Hi. Good to see you.
Hold on, Joni. Let's try Michael, then we'll come to you.
Yes.
Michael, the mic is yours.
I think you're breaking up a little, Michael. Still breaking up. Is it just me?
The connection seems to be weak.
It's not.
Hold on a second. Hold on. Michael, can you speak? Can you hear? This is most unusual for you because usually your connections are very clear, Michael.
Yeah. it might be out. It might be on the move. Let's go to Joni and then we'll come back to Michael.
Yes, I can rest my throat as well because I'm about to cough.
Hi.
Good
Thank you
morning.
for inviting me to
Joe.
your event. Oh gosh. I love hearing you talk. Your diction is so, I don't know if I have the word for it. It's so articulate and pronounced, and so you are a very good live speaker, and
Oh,
your
thank you.
empathy for the women you serve is just clearly evident. And so, happy birthday.
Thank you.
Happy birthday to you.
Thank you.
There's that. So, in relation to this story, I have shared before, I've had 2 miscarriages. And gosh, they're painful. And like I remember just like the feeling of like seeing their heartbeat and then not seeing their heartbeat. Like it was so guttural, the experience I felt. Like I literally fell off like the doctor's chair thing that they were doing the ultrasound and just laid on the floor. It's a full mess. And I, for those of you who have children and then go through a miscarriage, which is what I did. I had 2 daughters and then went through 2 miscarriages and then had a successful
Excellent.
son who is the love of my life. I love this little boy. He's the greatest freaking human alive. Not that my
So
girls aren't.
let me pause you for a
But
second, Joni. Let me pause you, sorry. So, because we're speaking of a mother's love, I'm so sorry to obviously we've had this conversation before. I'm so sorry to hear of your experiences and your trauma. Because we've spoken about this is the reason why I know and we've had conversations. My question to you is this: what was it that kept you going to have your son? Because we were speaking of a mother's love today, right? Especially a mother's love for the unborn child, the bond that we carry. What was it that kept you going? Because in this story, my story today is it took 29 attempts for the 30th IVF round to work. What was it that kept you going for all that time? Okay.
Dr. Vivian, we
I think
see
you're
you.
I think you're
Yeah.
muted.
Any
Welcome,
always
Dr.
mutes you. Any mutes you, in case you don't know.
Well, welcome, Dr. Vivian.
Unmute. Joni,
Unmute.
unmute first. You have to unmute.
always saying I'm not camera ready. I've like just been like running around the house doing like morning chores. But anyways, so the question.
Mm-hmm.
There are 2 people in my life that had a really big effect on me. That being my mom and my dad. And they had 3 children. And I wanted to be one of those families that had 3 children. And so, you know, we all knew growing up, my dad loved my mom like something fierce. He still does. And so we always were making a joke like, okay, if all 5 of us are on a cliff, it's they've saved someone from falling off. My dad would like wrap his hands around my mother. But my mother would have somehow done extendy hands and wrapped her arms around her children. And we knew we were her first priority for love. And it was a really great thing to experience. And I hope that my children will feel that way, as they grow up, because there's nothing I wouldn't do for them. But when I went through miscarriages, both at 12 weeks, a girl and a boy, uh, it was my dad who was like, Joni, look, I know that you feel like because you have these two other girls, like you don't get to grieve in the same way as a woman who's never had a child. And instead, they were, uh, he was like, you know what's to come. And it's, it was a magical moment for me. He was like, you have this vision of, them at 2 years old and, eating granola bars and throwing peas around the kitchen. And, you have the vision of taking them to preschool with their tiny backpack. And so it's okay for you to grieve too. And it's one of the nicest things my dad's ever said to me. And it made me feel loved in that moment. Then I felt like it was just, I needed to try to see if my body still worked because I wasn't old. I was, 32. And I was like, "Ugh, yeah, make this work." And I always wanted 3 girls. And I was like, I could do it. And then I got my little boy, and I kind of almost teared in my eye, like when I found out I was a boy. And gosh darn, light of my life, just freaking light of my life. This boy is so boy. Just like a dope fucking dude. Sorry. And he's really like all about sports and everything, but he writes me notes at class and says, I love you, Mom. I know I'm not coming home tonight because we're a split family. And that's another thing that maybe could be on your radar because that's like a baby loss, like when you go through a divorce. But he is so sweet and the angel of my life. And so I'm really glad I kept trying. And I'm really glad that my dad didn't make me feel like my sadness was, I don't know, somewhat less than a woman who doesn't have children. Because a woman who does have children and then her body starts not working, you know that feeling, that first night in the hospital. It is magic. Like 2 feelings I want back in my life, in my afterlife, whatever. Like that first night when they're so sweet and they're breathing on their own in the little incubator next to you. And then the first time they latch and like your breast milk comes down because your breasts are so tender. And it's magic. It's pure magic. So yeah, so I did lose a boy and a girl, and I have gained so many wonderful kids like in my life that are like my kids' friends that come over here and just want to chat. And I'm like, well, Charlotte's not home or Kit's not home or what. Oh, we just want to come chat with you, Joni. I'm like, yes. So it is my mission for sure to be a good mother and not be a pushover mother and not, succumb to society's beliefs that, a mother doesn't hurt if, she's already had to. Oh well, she's got to. So I don't subscribe to that. And I really appreciate my dad's comment during that time. And I really appreciate my mom's entire attitude my entire life, that she was so protective over us. And my mother, God, she's just badass woman. And I learned to have my voice from her.
I love
And
that. I
so,
love that so much. Thank you for sharing that. I'm going to repeat the reason why we have this topic today is a mother's love. It's unshakable. It's undeniable. You know, especially one for an unborn child. There is something that pushes you. We have that instinct in us that really pushes us deep down within us, you know, and you really got to think that even when they're no longer with us, that love never goes away. You carry it. You carry that love for as long as you live, because you're gonna have trigger moments. You'll have days where you remember the dates. You can't help but to think, oh, what if they were like this, or what if they look like this? Who would they be? What would they be doing right now? How would they be with the siblings? So
yeah.
it's really important that we speak of that, a mother's love. We began the show, so I'm going to go to Michelle Ramos's.
One quick
I lost
thing.
a breath. Yes.
So I lost one baby on Halloween and then one baby January 21st. And now I went home after a DNC. I had
Mhm.
DNCs on both because
Mhm.
it was too late. My body wouldn't release it. But I went by myself and I pushed my wheelchair out by myself, saying that I had my husband outside. And he wasn't. He was working. He was like at a bar. I don't know. And I went home and I made chili for the neighborhood for Halloween. And something about like that sort of rote activity to just make food, I it was it was helpful. I didn't have to focus on the pain. And that was okay for me. I don't mind it. But I remember both dates clearly. And if I ever bring it up to my ex-husband, he was like, "What are you talking about? Like, what day is today?" And I'm like, "Well, we lost our daughter today and we lost our son that day." So, but it really is a mother's love that it's like so guttural. Like you would do anything. You would do anything. And not all women have to be like that. And so if you're not that woman, don't worry. It's okay. Like it's not needed. It's like it can be really painful sometimes.
I
So,
agree. It's true. Thank you, Joni.
yes.
It's so true. It's so true that if you're not that way, it's okay. Like I said earlier in my conversation, we're all different. We're all individuals. How we experience this trauma is different for each person. In the same way people believe in, the story for today, where people believed that enough was enough and she kept going. Because who are we to tell somebody their own journey? Who are we to call time out on somebody else's journey? You don't have that right to do so. If you want to support me, feel free, step on the platform and support me. If you don't want to support me, step off the platform and I'll keep going. And she, for me, is the perfect example of not allowing other people's opinions to penetrate your ears and remain within you, because that blocks what is meant for you. If you believe in it, what is meant for you will happen ultimately. I'm just going to quickly run on Michelle Ramos's story. So first of all, Michelle, I'm so sorry to hear, or to read rather, this I'm reading is quite horrific, and you are right in saying the pain never goes away. That's the one thing about a mother's love. The pain just doesn't go away. No matter how many years pass, no matter where we are, whatever we're doing, what life throws at us, it never goes away. What we do is we find the ways to manage, to cope, to move forward. Whether it be picking up hobbies, remembering who we were before we began this traumatic journey, and pulling back some of the things that we used to do. Who was I? That individual, before I thought about becoming a mother, who was I? And was I a free spirit? Was I somebody who loved activities? Did I like to go dancing? What really made me tick? And it's about picking up those things and trying to make sense of how we move forward. And obviously, somebody like me to come along and help you guys to do that, I'm always happy to do so. It's so important that we don't think about other people's journey as one that we could have had. But the reality is, each journey is so different. It is not for you to judge. It's for you to either support or step away and let somebody else who truly wants to support that individual. I'm going to read the poem I began with at the beginning. I tried to write this poem. And so it's been a while since I wrote something. But anyway, the poem is I've got two poems for today. The first one is for those who have experienced a miscarriage. The second poem is for those who have experienced stillbirth. So the first poem goes like this. Though you never heard their laughter or held their tiny hand, your love was pure, unshaken, a bond that still will stand. They lived within your heartbeat, a whisper soft and true. And though they could not stay here, they will always be with you. A mother's love knows no bounds, not even time or space. For in your heart, they rest in light, a soul you can't replace. So when the days feel heavy and the nights are filled with pain, know their love still lingers near, like sunshine after rain. And that's my first one for you guys today. The second one, if anybody else would like to come up and share before I close today's show, feel free. The second one, as I said, is for those mothers who experience stillbirth, neonatal birth. I carried you with hopes so high, dreams of laughter, lullabies. I felt you move. I knew your name, a love so fierce it never waned. But fate was cruel, the time too brief. I hold your name in silent grief. No cries to hear, no hands to hold, just empty arms and love untold. Yet still, my child, you are not gone. You live in me, you still belong. In every breeze, in moonlight's glow, in whispered winds, your presence shows. A mother's love will never fade. and bound, not bound by time, nor night's cascade. For though this world you could not stay, my heart still holds you every day. So thank you for allowing me to read that. I really believe that a mother's love, especially for the unborn child, I should say for the lost loved child, never really goes away. In the same way, the pain never really goes away. So, my message to you today is should you know anybody who is
That wasn't me. Christiana fell off the stage. Fell off the studio.
so,
There you go. She's back.
if you know
We
any,
lost you. What happened to you? You fell off.
you know me, I'm a defrag. My computer has a mind of its own. I'm at its mercy, so I have to roll the punches, you know me. No matter what happens, the show must go on. So, as I was saying, remember that really, if anyone is going through this trauma, the best you can do for them is to take the time to listen, to really ask them what they want, how you can support them, and not to trivialize what they're going through. Because, I will say for the sake of, if argument's sake, I'm going to call her Mother J. So in Mother J's situation, she has so many doubters. So many said to her, give up. So many said to her, what's the point of this? What's the sense in all of this? Why are you putting yourself through this much trauma and pain? Even to the point they asked her, is it really worth it? And her answer every time was yes. There was no doubt in her mind. So I say this to say, when others doubt, follow your heart.
Yeah.
As we're in the month of love, follow your heart. Let the naysayers drop off by the wayside. You pick up yourself, you find those that will be in your camp, that will support you, that will really pick you up and be your footprints as you move forward. Because finally, eventually, you will get to your destination. I want to say once again, thank you to every single person who rocks up every 2 weeks to support this. But for the time being, I'm going to hand over to Annie. And if anybody else would like to come up on stage, on studio, to share, to have a last word, or to just express whatever you're feeling today to express, we're open to it. Feel free, join us. And I want to give last words to Michelle first, and then on to Joni and Annie. Over to you, Michelle.
I'm at a loss for words, which is usually really unrare for me. I've
That's
actually
a good
never
thing, I
sat
think.
so still in my life learning. So thank you. I mean, your story and her story, she's a superwoman. And it's beautiful to hear someone, because being a woman, there's a void. And maybe some people will disagree with me, but when we're women, not having a child is a void in our life. And it's beautiful that she got to have the child. I mean, yeah, have I lost children? Yes. With my blood type, I actually have to get shots the whole time to be able to even carry a child. Um, and so have I lost a lot before we caught when I was pregnant? Yes. I mean, if we don't catch it within, I believe they said that like the first month, I automatically abort because I'm
Hmm.
RH null. And just to hear her say that, because I've I always wanted kids. And so I would say I lost about 5 before we finally had our first one because we didn't know I needed shots. All right. We were very young. Um, and that's when the shot just actually came out too for RH negative and RH null people. And that's when I was able to start carrying, but we had to like really make sure we knew when we were going to do it. And I with my sensory issues, I could honestly feel exactly right away when I was pregnant. My doctor loved me. He's like, oh, hello, Michelle, you're pregnant again, let's give you that shot. But I did have an amniocentesis with every one of my kids
Oh, wow. Okay.
because I had to, because I am RH null.
Makes sense.
One of my
Yes.
amniocentesis did not go well, and I
Mm.
did have to go in for an abortion. And I had to hear the heartbeat
So sorry to hear
before
that. It's one of the
they
side
did
effects, to
that.
be fair. Yes.
And I would we were yeah, we were 23. And I everyone told me you're just stupid for having any more kids. Actually, they wanted to fix me, and I was like, I'm not a dog. I might be mammal, but we're not gonna fix me yet.
Mm.
Um, you know, and it's so I can't relate to what your friend went through because Miss J, right? I couldn't. That's the hormones and not having someone to support you. The only support I had was honestly my ex-husband's mom, and she
Mm.
took me to my first shot. I will honestly say that, and she's a great woman. She really helped me out, and from there we just had to learn how to have kids, if that makes sense, or I would
Mm.
lose them every time. So I had like 3 DNCs. Yeah,
Wow. So sorry to hear that.
you know what though? It's just like your friend's story. I
Mm.
don't look back on it as a failure. I succeeded. I have beautiful kids, and
Mm.
they are the apple of my eye. They're just like me. And a lot of people when I was younger too, when I was in special ed, they said, we do fix people like you. Mind you, I'm in a little rural town that doesn't even deliver babies. And I'm like, what do you mean you're gonna fix me? Well, we fix retarded people, and I'm like, well, who's retarded? And they're, oh, you don't
Exactly.
understand, you're retarded. And I was like, what the hell? And but I will honestly say, each one of my children are just like me on the autism spectrum,
Mm-hmm.
and they are all beautifully able to do anything and everything. And I'm very proud of them, and I'm very proud of me trying to raise them and them being able to raise themselves as much as they did in the house. I mean, split shifts during the day, but
Yes.
my story is nothing like your friend's story. And thank you for telling me that because it's just like another warrior right there standing next to me because people don't understand why we do it. And it's
Mm-hmm.
not up to them why we do it. We do it because we want to do it. We want that love. Fine, if you don't want to be here, that's okay. But
Keep
it is
moving.
a void. And it's just beautiful knowing there's another warrior out there like me that went through it. So thank you.
Thank you, Michelle. The one thing I love about the way you tell your story is the humor that you bring into your story and how you're so candid about it, how you don't take it too seriously. That is not to diminish the pain that you felt, the pain that you went through in those moments, in those times. But I just love how you humanize it by bringing humor to it. So thank you for sharing and thank you for um, letting us know that in this journey there is still laughter. I'm going to go over to Joni. Last words.
Hi.
Yes,
Well,
last words.
thank you for including me. And if any person, is experiencing anything like we talked about, it's your own journey. And that is okay to just have your own journey on it. And we will be here to support you.
Yes.
Because mothers and fathers and lots of different people, they get the experience of wanting to protect a child, wanting to have a child. And so just know that you're not alone. And happy Valentine's Day. Hugs, hugs, kisses, besos.
Not for any. Not for any. Any does not do Valentine's Day. He thinks it's just a load of rubbish.
He's
shouldn't have to have. It's not
He
one.
is my brother from another mother, and I will be sending him a Valentine's Day
Try
gram.
Any believes love is every single day.
I'm gonna do a
not
dance
just
for
one
you or
day.
something.
Love
Holla.
is every day. There's no Valentine's, honestly. It's a
Oh
commercial
well,
thing.
whatever. It's a Hallmark
Yeah.
holiday. It's
And a
not that
grumpy
important,
gift.
but it's still a way to appreciate the ones you love. So,
And happy birthday, Christina.
Thank you so much.
birthday.
Thank you so much again. I appreciate.
I'm glad you're feeling better,
it.
sweetheart.
I am feeling better, but I'm having to mute so I can cough. So if you see me muted, because I'm coughing behind the scenes.
Your voice sounds perfect. So you're doing.
Thank you. I'll be back to normal, hopefully by next week. So, your last words?
My last words.
Yes.
Look, I say, of course, as always, thank you to you, and thank you to our wonderful speakers who do come and share.
Yes, thank you.
It's an important message. I think, I will take after Dr. Vivian, who says, you all look amazing. Well, you're all amazing. So that's my last words, Christiana.
Thank you. So
thank you.
I'm going to say thank you to everyone that turned up, rocked up. Like I say, I don't take your support for granted. I am so pleased. I am so grateful. And I am so happy to be here to serve you in whatever way I can. Grateful that you show up for me every time, and you show up for this community, more importantly, every single time, and you've been doing this for, goodness me, oh my goodness, we're now in our July last year we began this journey. 8 months now. Wow, I just realized how long we've been doing this. Although our live has been since December, so we're now in our 3rd month. You guys are so awesome. I love you. You're always here. It's been 8 months solid. Wow. Okay, I hadn't realized it's been that long, but it has been that long for real. So thank you, Annie. Thank you, Joni, for being here. Christine, I thank you. Cyrus, Caroline, Dr. Vivian, Suraya, is it Surah? Michael B, Michael R, and Lisa. Do you know, I must make efforts to get to your show. I keep missing so many shows. I go, it's up, and with it being different time zones, sometimes it's really difficult to show up. So I will make the effort. Professor Roxana, thanks for being here. It was so great to see you in our audience today. I do truly appreciate you guys. And for those who are experiencing and have experienced this trauma, please do not suffer in silence. Take the time and see a professional, whether that be counseling, whether that be a coach like myself or myself indeed. I'm always on LinkedIn, my second home. So feel free to slide into my DMs. I'll be happy to see you, see your face, have a conversation. Whichever way I can help you, I will do so. I just want to leave this message with you. Remember that your journey is important. It's really important. And please do not compare your journey or yourself to somebody else, because no one knows what goes on behind closed doors. Seek the support and the help and the love from loved ones and beyond. If you're in a workplace and you have a colleague that's going through this, reach out and lend a listening ear. Ask them how you can journey with them and take the time to listen to them, to hear them out. And make sure that when you say, I'm going to support you physically, that you make that time and not arrange any other events around the promised time, because that means you're giving your undivided attention to them in those moments. Until next time, I want to say thank you once again, and we'll see you in 2 weeks' time for another episode of Miscarriage Why Me. Thank you guys.
Bye,
Thank you so much,
everyone.
Michelle and Joni, and bye everybody. And
Bye, everyone.
Annie, I didn't do too badly on the time this week.
Yeah, what? You mean the early 17 minutes past the hour?
Exactly. There you go. Oh, thank you, Michael.
You are amazing. Thank you
Thank you,
for
Michelle.
thank you for being a beautiful soul and coming on here
Thank
and
you.
blessing us with your knowledge, with your voice, with
Okay.
thank you. Thank you so much. I just love you.
Thank you, Michelle. Thank you so much.
Okay,
Let's keep
bye,
supporting the
everyone.
community. Goodbye, everybody. Thank you so much, and see you in 2 weeks'
Every
time.
step forward is a new beat to your drama. She's success with Global.Media.com and celebrate it with or without champagne or rum. She's success with Global.Media.